Africa, Emily was feeling a little claustrophobic with all the activity that was going on in the kitchen. She was having a hard time wrapping her head around that it was morning. In Ethiopia, it would be around 4 in the afternoon.
So what did I miss?
Emily held her father out at arm's length to look at him again. He didn't look well. Did her sisters keep anything from her? They had arrived a few weeks ago, while she dealt with the red tape to get back home. She had been 8 months into her second contracted term with the Peace Corps and had to apply for a hardship dismissal so she didn't lose the stipend she had earned. One of the terms of the negotiation was that she had to stay and train her replacement. And while Kelly and Janice texted her as often as they could, Emily wasn't sure she'd gotten all the messages.
"We're reorganizing a bit," her father said gruffly.
"The cattle industry is dying. We need to branch out into more sustainable activities," Emily said.
He chucked her under the chin.
"You're so cute."
Emily grimaced. "I've killed men for less."
He snorted. "See what I mean?"
"That is kind of condescending, Dad," Janice said.
"You're cute, too," he told her.
"I'm cute," Janice said to Kelly, who rolled her eyes.
"So am I,"
Alyssa piped up, and they all chuckled. Her niece was 5 years old and had just attended her first rodeo. Emily had missed the annual Last Stand rodeo that happened over 4th of July week, but she got to see the video of Alyssa mutton bustin'. Kelly had taken a ton of pictures to build up her portfolio for the portrait studio she was planning on opening. After looking at her album, it was almost like Emily had been there.
"Wait until you meet Trent and Donovan," her mother said. "They're such nice men."
"So I've heard," Emily said with a trace of sarcasm. Both nice men were renting land from her father, and it was helping keep the creditors at bay. But it wasn't a long-term solution. Trent Campbell was a local boy who had made it big in professional bull riding. He was back in town and starting his own rodeo school on their land. It was supposed to have been a surprise that her father had wanted to spring on them, but her sisters had ferreted out the truth and filled her in. Emily thought that was pretty cool. She remembered seeing Trent ride when they'd gone to the rodeos when she was growing up. However, she knew it bothered her father to have strangers on his land. The other renter, however, she had major problems with, even though she'd never met him. Donovan Link had paid for hunting rights on their land and was currently paying a monthly lease on the property until he decided if he wanted to build a hunting lodge. That was going to happen over her dead body. She had to convince Donovan that it wasn't worth his time to be here. Her family would figure out how to make up the lost revenue another way.
"I saw Trent's school as I drove by. I'm hoping we won't have to deal with another building and more foot traffic."
Emily figured she'd try to get on her father's good side.
"Well, hope again," Janice snapped. "My retreat center is going to bring in groups of people, and since Kelly's photo studio will be a part of it, we all have to realize that changes are going to happen. And we all need to adjust to them."
Great. Not home 5 minutes, and she'd already touched a nerve.
"I didn't mean your retreat center," Emily said. "I meant non-family members."
Kelly smiled into her coffee. "You mean Donovan's proposed hunting lodge?" Her sisters were her best friends, when they weren't trying to be a second and third mom to her. Talk about bossy. Kelly had always been on her to fix her hair and makeup, while Janice wanted to quiz her on history and math flashcards. And yet, they covered for her when she had missed curfew, and looked the other way when she signed her father up to get Miss Magazine. They hadn't had a lot of adult time together, though. Kelly had decided to move to New York after a fight with their dad, and Janice went to Kentucky straight out of college. Emily had planned on sticking around and going to a local college for a business degree, but her father had refused to take her seriously. So she had decided to go on an adventure instead. Africa had been the farthest point she could get to, and since no one knew...